it's NaNoWriMo, and this is pretty much the halfway checkpoint. It's Saturday, November 14th, 2020, 12:01. I should write down that I'm making... Oh, I did. I'm doing this for school, a time log. I'll be entering it into the... into an actual document instead of... but keeping track on pen and paper to start with is the way we used to hand it in anyway, but doing it this way is helpful. It's tedious to keep a time log, to be that aware of what you're doing every half hour of your day, and being honest about it. But it's a good exercise. I mean, this one isn't... The days I picked aren't... It being November, it isn't actually reflective of how I spend my time, considering I'm doing National Novel Writing Month. But still, for school, this is a good... I'm glad I'm doing it anyway. So, for the update of how I've been doing, remember the first video, for those who watched it? If I'm wearing the same shirt, I swear it's been cleaned since in between. This is where I left off yesterday. So, one of the things I've been doing is doing my 750 words every day. So 750words.com is a great website. I've been using it for like years off and on. When I go through my longest writing sprints, like writing sprints is in daily writing, it's been with using that site. Because it has cute badges and it tells you you're on a... I mean writing streaks, not sprints. Sorry, everything's a mess right now. The thing is, I think the longest I ever did was like 180 days in a row without missing anything. But I want to beat that. But right now I'm only at 13 days in a row. So we got a ways to go. So I'm not going to think of it that way for a while. But what I am saying is that after NaNoWriMo, I would like to continue to write at least the 750 words per day, because I intend to keep that streak going throughout this month. For instance, a couple days ago, I had surpassed the... I had caught up where I had surpassed the amount of words needed for today. I was like, I had shot past that number. No, I hadn't. Had I? Yeah, I had. Sorry. I'm looking at the bottom number, which is like the daily expected word count, and then I'm looking at what number I have. And I was at 24,000 on the 20,000 day. And I hit 27,000 last night on the 21,000 day. Today is Saturday, so it's 23,000 expected today. Really? And 25 is on Sunday. I didn't even realize that. This is a weird calendar. This is a Monday to Sunday calendar. I never do my calendars that way. I prefer Sunday to Saturday. The first day of the week is Sunday for me. Monday's the, no wonder I got confused in here. I got a little confused with my numbers, and this is why, because I'm used to a Sunday to Saturday kind of calendar. Yeah, wow. I mean, this doesn't really matter to you guys. For me, this is like, oh, that's why. Like, that's why I'm looking at this going, why does this look... Anyway. So, the things that have been good, like I said, is doing 750 words per day. I started out doing those in the morning, but the past several days, I have not been typing in the morning. I haven't been doing it on a schedule like that. But what I have taken advantage of is the virtual write-ins that they've been having with the local liaison, Toronto NaNoWriMo group. They are fantastic. I've been nervous to like participate with them in past years because of, I guess, social anxieties. Not complete, total, utter ones, but I have not been to them, and it's too bad I missed out on the coffee shops meetups. But now with Zoom and like that kind of virtual platform, it's been so much easier for me to dip in. And while it still can be, initially nervous for breakout rooms or whatever, I'm finding it to be really good. During the virtual write-ins, I may not write during every sprint because of my certain way of doing my nano, which is I type the words in 750words.com. I copy and paste it into my in-process blog post. I copy after spell checking in a document. And then I read after I've read it over and corrected some things or whatever. I put that into the actual document I have ongoing, which has my ongoing word count. It sounds like a lot of steps, but I have to read my entry over because I post it online. I have to be able to read it and know that even if it's not perfect or whatever, that it's at least coherent to a degree. And it's how I've negotiated with my inner critic, or else I would not make it past each day. And even though I'm not writing a creative project, I'm writing a day-to-day kind of journaling, and or some reflections based on my life stuff or whatever topic comes to mind, a tangent, wherever I go with it. Sometimes it's not very good. It's just like pulling on. I don't do the work, the inner work, and then other days it comes to me. But that's kind of what a daily writing practice does. You don't have inspired words every single time you write. But this negotiation tactic I've had with myself, with the inner critic for NaNoWriMo, has helped me to win it 3 times before. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm okay with it. If it means like during the virtual write-in, part of the writing sprint, I'm doing sort of a mini revision and doing my pattern of posting. I think that's good. It's still beneficial to me. I'm still getting a lot of words done. Some of the sprints I'm getting 1,000 words. Some of them I'm getting only a little bit. But it all adds up. Like I've gone to so yeah. I'm ahead of track by what today is the count for the 14th of November. To be on track, you want to hit the goal 23,338 words on the 14th of November, Saturday. Sunday is the halfway point where you want to be on the 15th of November, 25,005 words. I'm at 27,276 words last night. I haven't done any writing yet this morning, and it's like 12:10 p.m. So, but I intend to go to another virtual write-in this evening or this afternoon. I have an alarm for it. I think it's this afternoon or early evening. When do I have it? Oh, it's for like close to 5 o'clock. It's the pre-halfway party now. And there'll be more socializing, but I'll get to write as well. I'm sure there'll be some writing sprints. So I'll write for that. And yeah, I can celebrate a bit. So I'm that's my thing. So to let you know, I'm on track, confused by my calendar because I didn't double check that it wasn't Sunday to Saturday. But yeah, that's why things make sense now. Now I've hit the 5K, I've hit the 10K. Oh, now I can put 25K on that. The other thing I've kept track is in my agenda, which I'm using for school. I'm still in classes and staying on track, but I've been keeping track of my virtual write-ins here. So I've gone to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 virtual write-ins so far, and today will be the 7th. I went to 2 on one day, the other day, and I'm doing this now. For those who used to follow my paper expression sort of stuff, I used to do this method of checkbox sort of daily objectives. That sounds like I'm talking about Grand Theft Auto, but like the video game. But yeah, I find that that's working for me so far. I think so. Yeah, I even gamed last night, and yeah, I need to read a bit more if I'm going to hit my read one book a month challenge. Yeah, reading's been difficult for me for quite some time. I've been listening to Audible, but I wrote about this in my last, in one of my recent entries online about how I feel regarding books being read or listened to and the ableistness of it, but it's difficult for me to not... it's difficult for me to count books I'm not tangibly reading with my hands, even though I think it's perfectly valid to count books you haven't read but have listened to. Why wouldn't it count? You know what I mean? But for me, I'm like, I'm when I finish reading this book, which has been my current read, I'm partway through it, I guess. It hasn't really grabbed me as much as I'd hope, but yeah, that, I don't know. That's for me to figure out. But I did go for a walk. That's one of the updates. I went outside. What day was it? Oh, only 2 days ago, the 12th of November. And that was 2 months and 1 day after the last time I had left the apartment. So this girl on lockdown, I'd like to say it's me doing my part, but it's probably also the reclusiveness. But honestly, minimizing exposure, and if that helps, I'm not gonna I'm trying to be kind to myself right now. I'm taking on more stuff than I generally would with school. Like I said, it's still happening, and there are assignments and stuff that I'm doing and just showing up. But look at this. Term 1 ends next month. Like, halfway through next month. That's crazy. We're entering week 11 of the school, of the college term, and there's 15 weeks, so I guess there's at least a couple assignments I need to get moving on. But yeah, that's kind of exciting, actually, to think that that's really happening. Okay. I'm doing all right. My marks aren't absolutely perfect, but I've done all right. I've done pretty good. So to the side of me, I have my laptop out because I was in a virtual writing last night, and I didn't know that I had received mail. But I had. Oh, I can't show you. But I did. I got the mail today. When he pulled it out of his jacket, I got another one of the mysterious tarot cards, the random tarot cards that I received from an old LJ friend, and I also received the hydro bill, and I received this envelope that had no return address, and I was like, oh no, it's one of those scammy things again. But it turned out to be a note and stickers, NaNoWriMo stickers from the local group. So I was really happy about that. So I brought my laptop out and I decided to put the stickers on them, and I'm pretty glad about it. Now the theme for this year's sort of NaNoWriMo overall for like their site, for the actual site, was finding your story. And I didn't think about that at all. I'm a pantser, as in I don't plot. I'm not a plantser. I don't do half and half, although technically I guess I do, in that I know exactly what I've been doing each year that I'm doing NaNoWriMo for a while. But what I found interesting is this finding your story being the thing. It's sort of connected to okay, I'm taking a writing class that I keep taking every time I try this program, and I'll be sad when I actually complete the term and pass the course, because that means that I won't get to take this class again. And there's no second part to this class. There's no like follow-up class. And I wish there was, because some of the courses in the program, they have another class following up or a continuation. And this one isn't. I mean, we're just honestly, considering the program, we're lucky to even get this class. But for someone like me who really does want to focus on the writing, it's like everything, and it's the whole reason keeping me in the term. And it's really difficult to think of I know I have to anyway, but I have to think of moving forward without that class after I'm going to presume that I'll pass it. I would hope, unless I totally lose it, and I don't want to lose it. I'm telling myself that I'm going to stay on track. But back to this class, it's Write Your Life, and it's the art. I mean, it's about, you know, writing the art of your own narrative kind of thing. And it also is a good challenge connected to the program itself, in that the story you've told yourself about yourself, challenging those stories, those narratives that you've told about yourself, which is difficult because we tend to hold on to these narratives about ourselves sometimes, unless we're completely reinventing ourselves. And that's really interesting, because I think I'm in a different headspace than I was in previous times taking this program, which is probably why I'm being more successful at it, and also the circumstances. But I was thinking about how I think I'm taking in better the idea of challenging the narrative and also approaching the narratives in a different way. And I think of it as many stories. Like, I like how our final project is like focused on one concept or story, not like your whole life story. Sorry about that. Not your whole life story, because that's, you know, it's not about that. And it's also about I mean, I still want to read that Joan Didion book that I have like on the shelf way over there, up there somewhere, where, you know, the collection of her stories is like, we tell ourselves stories in order to live, which is from a quote that she'd had. But it's true, we tell ourselves stories about ourselves and about people we know. I don't mean gossiping, I mean we have these narratives for ourselves and for other people, but mostly about ourselves, because we're all about ourselves. All of us live inside our own heads. And finding your own story is partly the theme, or one of your stories, part of the themes of my writing class. Essentially, it's like a way to have an outlet and to express yourself and to look at yourself and your life and your writing differently. Well, for NaNoWriMo, the finding your story See, one of my problems is one of my many problems. Okay. I've always wanted to write, and I have written, and I've been a writer, and I want to be a writer, and blah, 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 blah. But it's very hard to settle on an idea, especially if you're someone who writes authentic life stuff, like your life thing. You know, I have a lot of books on one of the bookshelves. There are memoirs, journals, diaries that are written by other people, collections of letters. You know, like it's the narrative, the personal story, in different forms. And I was thinking about, somebody had suggested to me that prior to this, somebody I highly respect who writes fragmentary writing, they had suggested that, well, they had alluded to the fact, or I don't know, they had inspired the suggestion about putting together a collection of my journal entries, like excerpts from my journal entries. And I was thinking of that, and I was thinking, yeah, that is, you know, that's something I could do and that I could put into a book. You know, excerpts going back from my online entries, or eventually I would go through my paper ones, my paper journal collection, which is over 40 journals, and I could excerpt from there. They're the most juicy, most interesting, honestly. But then I was thinking, you know, there's also the story I wanted to write of the injured worker experience. I mean, I've got all that paperwork, but it's so daunting on my own, and I honestly feel like for that project, eventually I would have to have already completed one book at least, and then perhaps have more of a support system, to somebody to help me go through the documents and to compile that with my diary entries and my online posts, journal entries that are private, to to weave through the thread of that experience, so that people can understand what it's like to be a young injured worker and what that goes through, the poverty and the tribunals and the appeals and the process and the stigma and that's a book that I think is important, but it's one that I don't have the energy inside myself or the strength yet to be able to do. I don't have it. I want to, and that's why I still have the paperwork, and I'm still making note of my life regarding it, but even just talking about it a little bit right here is too much. It's just too much. So that's something I would need help with. Therapy while I do it, and somebody who can actually do a lot of the, not writing, but the compiling and the sorting. I know I sound like I'm on a tangent, but I'm getting to what I'm actually had decided to do. So during one of the early virtual write-ins that I attended this month, someone gave I told them a little bit about what I was doing. That I'm doing this 30 days in agoraphobia thing. Oh my goodness. 1 second. Hello?
Hi there, can I talk to Amber, please?
Yep, this is Amber Dawn.
Hi there, this is Francis calling from Joeyco. I'm just letting you know I have your PC Express Loblaws order.
Okay, are you at our apartment?
I should be there in about 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
Thank you
so much.
No problem. Thank you again. Bye. Okay, so grocery delivery. First time in a while we've had grocery delivery, honestly. Want to minimize going out, but also it's a big heavy litter, and I used to get online grocery delivery more frequently, and then pandemic hit and everybody was getting it, and then you couldn't get time slots, and then it's about coordinating the money you have at the time with when it will arrive, and it hasn't eliminated outings. In fact, person was just outside today, but we're trying to minimize going out like that. Especially as things gear up some more during the pandemic. But hopefully this order went all right. I didn't get any messages really about things being replaced except for once regarding tofu. They said there was no tofu. There's always tofu. Okay, so like we got tofu somewhere else. Okay, so here's where I'm at. So the virtual write-in, someone I told them I've done this 30 days in agoraphobia thing where I've written in the month of November for NaNoWriMo each day asking, did I go outside today? And the answer is usually no. Spoilers. But I did that 2014, 15, 16. I won those 3 years in a row. And I did attempt a couple other years as well. I think one of the years I made it like 15,000 words in. One year I didn't make it that far. But I told them about the idea, and they said they would find it interesting. And now that obviously the pandemic has made a lot of people go into lockdown, but some of us have been in sort of a lockdown for various reasons, disabilities, illness, circumstance, for a long time. And there's that tension and thread throughout the thing. Like, did it really change going through a pandemic? And or how will I be going through this, and how afterward? And then there's also the other threads throughout the thing, which was always this I wasn't in Toronto when I wrote the first 3 successful NaNoWriMos, and I was so torn between where I wanted to be, but I knew I wanted to be here in this city. I wanted to be back in Toronto because I had moved away from Toronto, and Toronto is like a place in my heart. And then I longed for it, but I tried to settle, and there's that struggle, and I wrote about it, but I was still trying to live a life, as I've always done throughout the illness, throughout fighting WSIB. I've still tried to like live a little, but not live a little like I've never been out partying and all that. But I mean, I've tried to like experience my life, through different ways and express myself. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see the threads of what I was wanting and or how I was through those years to now. And I shared the idea, and the person found interest in whether there'd be a difference, and if there isn't a difference, how interesting that would be, that there's no difference during the pandemic. I mean, because you don't have to have resolution necessarily or anything. Nothing has to change necessarily in books or narratives. That's something we've learned. But I don't know. They found it interesting. They made me excited about it. The comments they gave to me about the idea of it made me excited about my own work. And then after that, I opened up another document and I called it the title of the novel. And then I put all my previous NaNoWriMos in there. And I accumulated them quite quickly. I accumulated words to like where I'm over 250,000 words or whatever, 500 pages or so, and counting, because I'm not done this year's NaNoWriMo. And this gives me something to work with as a book, an actual book. And I don't mean, I'm going to keep every word or whatever. No, I mean, after NaNoWriMo, because I'm refusing to work on that project in any revisionary way during this month when I'm writing daily right now. But what I will do is I'll go back afterward and I'll start to see which phrases and which blocks of text and which days seem to be the best to keep. There's a buzzer. Come on up. Thank you so much. And and I'm gonna see how that works, and I'm gonna go through and see what I have to work with. Obviously, pare it down, and then the only decision then is whether to shop it around with it having a 2020 ending, 214 to 220, and the pandemic's not over, so like, does that mean a sequel to this book, or do I like continue this project for another year or two to see if there's change? I'm not sure, because obviously I'll have a decrease in words when I edit, and I keep, I get rid of the days where I'm just like, I'm writing these words just to make sure I have words so that I have words. I didn't really write that, but some words are really like, ugh, right? Where other times I'm more inspired or in the moment. And anyway, I have to go, but that's where I'm at with my NaNoWriMo. Half an hour talk. I'm on track with writing. I'm trying to keep track with school. I'm showing up for classes. I'm trying my best. I did bathe yesterday. Thank you very much. I did not comb my hair for this video because 2020. I smell lemon pasta. It's vegan. It's dairy free, but it's so amazingly, it smells so good. Groceries are delivered. I tend to hide. I know that seems really bad, but I tend not to have much contact with with people so that I can, I'm kind of like a risk. I keep my self to myself. Anyway, thank you for watching this. I hope you're still writing. If you're behind, like in the number of words you've done, or if you're just starting or anything, wherever you are at, or if you've already finished, congratulations. Now you would know what the winner video looks like. A winner is you. But if you're wherever you're at is great. As Tamara Woods said in a NaNoWriMo video, like an official NaNoWriMo pep talk kind of thing that's on their NaNoWriMo YouTube channel, she had said something about how like just whatever you've written is words that weren't there before, and she said it in a much better way. She's a really good writer and a really good person to watch, to be inspired by as far as like her dedication to writing. She's one of the many or few that I watch, but that's a really good thing to remember. Like, this isn't about you in competition with anyone else. There's no like prize that way. It's you and you, and that's where it all comes down to. So do this for you. This is carved out time for yourself. If what you've been doing so far isn't working, as far as like the time schedules, or maybe you gotta steal some time because your life might be more chaotic or more hectic, or you might have less privacy, or all the things that happen that people have to deal with that aren't me. You need, no matter what your situation is or what your obstacles are for your writing, because clearly you do want to write, you just got to challenge them and carve out time. If you need to wake up earlier, do it. If you need to take some moments here and there, just do it for yourself. It's so easy to lose time to gaming, etc. And it's not to say that you shouldn't distract yourself with some stuff, especially these days. But if this is 1 month, 30 days where you can make writing the most important thing to you, as far secondary to all your other important things, but it's where you can make it have higher importance, and that tells something in your brain that you want to do this and you want to create this pattern of writing for yourself. And guess what? After November, you can ease up on that. You don't have to stick to the amount of words, 1,667 words that are required every day. Honestly, when I'm writing, I don't find it that difficult to get that many words done in a day or in a writing session. I can ramble like about 2,000 words in a writing session of an hour at a minimum or whatever. Like, I don't think it's that difficult, but it depends on if you're world building or, fleshing things out. I don't know. But I'm just saying, it's not as intimidating as you think. Just the hardest part is making yourself say to yourself that you're allowed to write, to do this, to take it as seriously as you want this month or as fun as you want, and see it as a fun challenge. So if you started today or yesterday or late, it's okay. If you could end up with like the one year I won, but I did that by like writing hardly any of the days a month and just like forcing myself on like the last day or two of doing 5,000 word chunks. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that, but like there are ways to get it done. See if you can participate in the many virtual write-ins that are available through NaNoWriMo.org or other writing groups, or just for yourself or buddy up, and you got this. Or just yourself. Remember, writing is mostly solitary anyway. So that's my pep talk and update about where I'm at. And I'm going to eat lemon pasta and help with putting the rest of the groceries away. I hope I waited long enough for most of it to be done, because then I'm not in the way in the kitchen. I'd hate to be in the way in the kitchen. Okay. Well, take care and enjoy this month. Enjoy it. Like, I again highly recommend, if you can, joining your local virtual write-ins. They have been so good for me. I'm just saying. I'm very thankful that they have occurred. And I hope that when we're back in the ability to do it in person as well, like to meet at coffee shops or whatever, that we continue to have virtual write-ins as well for those of us who had difficulties getting out, and to just like mix it up. I think that's something that's already being discussed, and I think it's a really good idea, because some of these obstacles that people might have had, whether it be transportation costs or health or whatever, things they had to consider about the environments they were going to, they don't have to worry about from within their own place, and you can still socialize. So yeah, there's some positives. Just try to look at that. But yeah, I hope you're finding your story, and if it's not there yet, keep writing and it will reveal itself. That's one of the great things I learned in a writing class recently, is how we tell on ourselves in our writing. And I learned that through an exercise called Glimpse Through the Fog, where we highlighted one of our previous free writes. Sorry about that again. We highlighted some key phrases or interesting words that popped out to us from one of our previous free writes. And I was like, oh my gosh, what I free wrote, I was writing about something completely different. I totally told on myself through that exercise of highlighting it out. And it created a poem, but it also transformed the piece of writing into something else, and revealed to me that in amongst all these thousands of words I could be writing could be something, some message to myself. So that's something you can think about, like that all the words you might be putting on the page might seem like nothing or seem like a mess, but in there is a story or many, and you could be telling on yourself in a very interesting way, and I think that's fantastic. So I'm really going now. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I tell you to subscribe, but you'll probably see gaming videos, but they're not bad. I'm gonna pop around with more videos like this from time to time, and journaling videos will come back when I'm writing in them. But take care, and wear a mask and wash your hands and try to be courteous to other people and take care of yourself. You know? Take care of yourself.